Hey, y'all. Welcome to All the Layers podcast, where we peel back all the layers, the deep, the funny, the uncomfortable, and everything in between. We are your host, Akila,
And Matia.
and this is episode number 5. And today we're going to be talking about social media.
We wanted to talk about social media because it obviously has changed the way we communicate, how we get information on a daily basis, and also how we see ourselves. So it can, on one hand, help us connect and build community, but it can also spread a lot of misinformation and create a bunch of pressure around your identity and your success. And so for many people, it's now like their main source of news, influence, or even opportunity, especially for people who are younger. And so we thought it would be really important to talk about how it's shaping us and not just how we use it.
Yes, definitely. Okay, y'all. So, first, we're going to talk about identity and performance. And the first thing I kind of want to get into is like, when does shaping how people see you start to erase the parts of who you actually are as a person? MT, I can start off if you want me to, but I think there's a blurring of lines when it comes to the person versus the brand. And I think you kind of start to erase the parts of who you really are when you're no longer being true to yourself, but instead you're performing. And I think whenever you're trying to shape how people see you or you're trying to be perceived a certain way or in a certain light, you may play a role that kind of creates the narrative of what you want to portray or that plays into how you want to be viewed, but that may not actually be who you authentically are as a person, and that may not be you showcasing who you really are. So that would kind of be my answer. I think when you start performing versus being true to yourself.
Yeah, I literally have nothing to add. I think I think that's a good point. Yeah. I just feel like when it becomes performance and no longer like just being you, I guess.
Right.
I feel like, for example, somebody could ask, is this going to get a lot of likes or like is this going to land well with the people? I feel like at that moment, okay, like you gotta step back and kinda evaluate.
Right. And then it's like, is your brand who you are? Is it building off of who you are, or is
Mm.
it something completely different? And if those two things don't align, then that's where we have a problem.
Yeah, so maybe just like when you're not being true to yourself, really,
Yeah.
just when it becomes for other people and not something that you're actually, trying to be aligned with. I
Yeah.
think.
Do you think that you've ever had to like quiet who you were or like, soften who you were or hide who you were to kind of be more acceptable on social media or online? Or have you felt any pressure, I guess, before to be more palatable?
Not really, like outside of professionally, no. Like, and
Yeah.
even that I feel like for me it's been different. I feel like it's very important for me as a person who's in like higher education or wants to be a professor and stuff to also be a person. So I think
Mm,
I'm okay with, like, posting, like, me going out and getting a drink with friends. I don't care who sees that or, like, stuff like that. Like, I really don't care. Like, I'm not gonna be, like, on top of tables and cars and, dancing and stuff on the main, but,
yeah.
like, I feel like a really big important thing to me is to be seen as someone outside of, like, a student or a
Yeah.
person who wants to be a professor. But a thing that I have felt like I've had to tone down, especially in the state that our country is in right now, is stuff like that because of the people who follow me or are on LinkedIn or like they're like, how are they gonna look at me? So I feel like I have to soften my intensity sometimes because you know me, I'm
Yeah.
pro black. I'm about to speak on every single political issue. Like call me Jasmine Crockett low key. But
I'm screaming,
I
not
feel like
Jasmine.
I have had to tone that down because it's like a unspoken pressure to be digestible for the higher ups who are often, at least for me, like white men.
Mm.
So not to be like too confrontational or have like those unpopular opinions. I think that has been something that I've had to soften or hide. Because I'll be having a lot of opinions that I just cannot share.
Yeah, and at some point, they start reporting you and taking people's
Right. And we
jobs and
saw
all
that
that
after
when
the
you
whole
have a
yeah.
controversial opinion that goes against the powers that be, so
Mm.
no, that's huge.
Right.
I would agree. In general, I'm naturally, like, just more conservative, so there's certain stuff I'm just not gonna post, like, I don't have a close friends or anything like that, and I think I am just more careful about what I post, but like you said, it's more because of who I am professionally in the field that I'm in and how I wanna be perceived, and I think even, like, I've had jobs, like, when I worked for the government, there were just certain things I could not speak on, and it was in a very like, this was in 2020, y'all, like, a very controversial time, and there was a war on Black people at that time, and not that there hasn't always been and there isn't still a war on Black people, but that was just a time where we were all, like, sat down, everybody had to pay attention, it was right in front of you, and everybody saw it, and so during that time, they're like, "You can't speak on the president, you can't speak on politics, you can't speak on all these things because you're supposed to be in this neutral role, and we don't want it to come off as if you're speaking on behalf of the organization," right? And so that was something where I had to, like, tone it down, be quiet, I can't
Mhm.
post this stuff, like, I can't do this or whatever. And then, like I said, just, like, professionally, like, because I'm an attorney and I'm in the legal profession to be taken seriously, like, I can't be on the internet naked, like, there who gonna want me as a lawyer? As their lawyer or to work for their firm if I, am not carrying myself in a classy and professional manner.
Mhm.
And I think we were talking about this with Tia off cam before, but there was like this lady, and I don't know what she was running for. I don't know if it was mayor or some seat in Congress. I don't know. But she was like on the beach, y'all, in a bathing suit twerking or something crazy. And they were dragging her through the mud because they just like, that is not your lane. You are supposed to be
Mhm.
in politics. You cannot be doing that. People are just not going to respect you, take you seriously. So, yeah, I think that's kind of the balance that we've had to strike, especially professionally. Okay, okay. So, I guess the other thing we can talk about is like, do we feel like or just do we feel like people are actually sharing who they really are? And we kind of touched on this a little bit before, but actually sharing who they really are, or are they editing themselves into what performs best on the timeline? And what performs best meaning like likes, engagement, comments, whatever. I mean, I'm definitely gonna say people be editing themselves.
Yeah, I would agree. I think personally, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't really care about that type of stuff.
You're speaking for yourself. Like, you
Yeah.
don't think you do that. Okay, okay.
But, like, for other people, yeah, probably, and maybe it did start as well, you know what, I will say this, if you think about at least and I'm speaking Instagram, I don't know about everything else, but for Instagram, I feel like back in the day, everybody was just sharing themselves. You would post I'll be used to be posting pictures of what I was eating, like, I take a picture of my Chipotle bowl and post it.
Like, me too.
And not on my story, on my main like, on the main page, like, "Look what I'm
Yeah.
eating, I got Chipotle." So I feel like at that time, people were sharing themselves until over time, Instagram updates, all these social medias update, and then you start seeing, like, what's getting likes, what's getting reposted, what's getting you the most praise, and so I think
Mm,
people start unconsciously sometimes they know, but, like, sometimes it's unconscious. I think start moving towards that version, and I think it's just now it's all about, like, I don't know, what gets optimized the most maybe, or just
yeah.
yeah, like, so, yeah, I think definitely in this point in society, yes, but I think at one point in society, we were just sharing whatever, and
Yeah,
that
like, we were just authentic, and it was just, like,
yeah,
whatever, like, you're
and that
not
was
thinking too much about it. It's like, take a
mhm.
picture, post. Now, literally, like, not even editing yourself, but literally editing. That is a huge
Oh,
thing with
yeah.
pictures too,
Mhm.
like, people edit their pictures so crazy. These influencers, if y'all could see the pictures, I think some of them have gotten leaked, but if y'all could see the pictures before they got edited, you'll be like, "Oh, wow, that looks like a totally
Mhm.
different person." Like, I'm
Mhm.
talking changing body shapes, changing
Mm.
their faces, adding makeup, all the things. Not minor editing like, "Oh, this piece of hair was sticking up, Imma take this out," but editing
Right.
their actual appearance. And then also, like you said, editing yourself. And we talked about this off cam too, Matia, but I think women tend to sexualize themselves too on social media, whether that's being overly revealing or maybe it's posting stuff like, I don't know, when people are talking about freaky stuff or making these freaky posts or whatever, and women be posting it. And I'm like, I don't like some of these people, I'm like, that's not even who you are, what you give in real life. I don't even think you would be on that. But because that is going to attract men and that's something on social media that garners a lot of attention, then that's what you're doing. But I just, yeah, like I think people definitely do what is going to perform better or go with whatever's going to get the most likes, comments, attention. Cause at the end of the day,
Mhm.
that's what a lot of people are seeking is attention. And people don't realize like all attention isn't good attention.
Mm.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
All attention is not good attention. Lord, I can't even say it now. All attention is not good attention. I just struggled saying that like 3 times. But Y'all know what I mean. Okay, so the other thing is, do you feel like social media has made you more hyper aware of how you look and come across, like, in real time? No?
Not really.
No? Okay. I don't know. I'm going to say that it has for me. I don't know if I wanna say hyper, that just sounds really intense and dramatic, but I will say I do think about or care about how I look if somebody's, like, recording or taking a picture and I know it's gonna get posted. Like, please don't post me looking crazy.
Well, yeah, I guess in that sense, then yeah, but I don't know. I feel like that's just like, dang, just don't post me looking crazy. Like,
But if we weren't in this age of social media and people were just taking pictures just for moments and it was staying in the camera roll, we wouldn't really care. But it's like we care because they're posting it because other people are then going to engage with that and see it. So,
that's fair. For me, I really don't care. Like, I really don't care if you tag me. I'm just not gonna repost it.
but that's caring though. Like, what? That's literally caring. That's literally being aware of how you look. Cause I do the same thing. Like, somebody might tag me or something and I'm looking at, oh, this is not cute,
This
baby.
is
This is
not cute.
not getting reposted on my story.
Mm.
Which is really
Like
the
that was a thing before social media, though. Like,
but was it? Because we weren't
I
sharing the
don't even
stuff.
like mom sending pictures in family group chats of me that look crazy. Like, that's just like, I just don't like looking crazy.
Yeah, I get
Like,
what you're
it's
saying.
I just feel like that's a like, nobody likes looking crazy. I don't even know if that really
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that and that's not in real oh, I guess I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
not in real
yeah.
time really,
Yeah.
but just period, I guess. I don't know, I do think I get what you're saying because I agree too, like, I think most of us are super critical of pictures of ourselves, and we don't like it,
Yeah,
we don't want it
for
going
sure.
places, but I do think the audience has been broadened because of social media, and
Yeah.
now people are putting stuff out there more, so you're like, "Okay, it's
Right.
gonna be out there,"
Mhm.
versus oh, it's being shared amongst family or it's
Right.
in the camera roll or whatever. The other thing I'll say too, this is not like about myself, but y'all, I love taking pictures of my food. When I go out, I'm taking a picture of it. And I will be at the this is so embarrassing, but it is what it is. We being honest, we being real. I will be at the table. If there are any straw wrappers, things in the I'll move it all out the way. I'll be like, hold on, my boyfriend be ready to eat. I'll be like, hold on, wait, don't eat yet. I'm about to take a picture. He be so mad all the time, but I really be on that. But it's because I do actually go back and look at the pictures of the food, but most
Mhm.
of the time I'm putting this stuff on my story, doing a boomerang or whatever. And I think I need to start probably trying to partner with like Yelp or something and do some reviews and use this stuff because if it's just going on social media for 24 hours, that's maybe too much work for no money, you know. Mattia, your face.
Anyways, moving on.
Oh, what's the next thing I want to talk about?
Oh, well, since you said that, yeah, are you fully in moments or have in while imagining what they'll look like later?
Say that one more time because I start bust out laughing in the middle of your
I
sentence.
said, are you fully in moments or you have in them while imagining how they'll look later on camera in your story or etcetera?
I like to think that I am present in moments and I'm there and fully there, but I can see how if you are recording everything or taking pictures, how you're really not as present because you're worried about capturing something. But I think it depends on the purpose behind those. Like, am I trying to make sure these are the highest quality pictures, the best pictures ever to where I'm re-recording and I'm super focused to where I'm not paying attention? Because I want to post it later and I care how it looks? Or do I really want to have these memories and I'm living in it and just naturally pulling out my camera? Because I think, and not to get sad or anything, but like when somebody passes away, for example, you
Mhm.
always wish, oh, I wish I would have took more
The
pictures. I
pictures, yeah.
wish when we were like together as a family, we all would have got together and everybody would have got pictures with one another and stuff like that. So I think that's okay. But I think it's when it starts becoming like, I ain't even paying attention. I'm just worried about getting this super high quality picture or video so that I can then post it. Then, you know, but I don't know. I like to think I'm present in moments. I do like to record and take pictures of stuff. And I do like to get good videos depending on where I'm at. Like if I'm abroad on an international trip, like I'm not coming back here. So I actually would like the quality of the picture to be good.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna post some of the stuff, not all of it. So I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, I think I would say the same for me, kinda though, because sometimes I'll be like, "Dang, I didn't capture any of that."
That's when you know you had a good time for real.
And now all I have are the memories.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I'll be going home like, "Dang, I shoulda took a picture with so and so." But yeah, like, stuff like that. So I don't know, I think more More so lately. I don't know. I haven't taken as much even, like, being here in California, I was thinking about that as I was, like, going through my camera roll, because sometimes you just go back and look at pictures. I'm like, "Dang, I don't be taking pictures of nothing I be doing."
Yeah, you
But
need to.
sometimes I just Huh?
I said you need to.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. So I guess sometimes I'm
Yeah.
fully in the moment. Other times, maybe not, but yeah.
Let's talk social mobility and invisible pressure. I think this does happen, but when you're scrolling and like your progress then feels small because of what you're seeing, or you feel like you're behind even when you're like super accomplished or you're quote unquote winning in life. I don't know how you want to coin that. So we can kind of talk about that. If we've ever felt like that despite our accomplishments, our agrees, like our degrees. Sorry, I said our agrees. I don't know. Whether we've ever felt like that, regardless of our accomplishments, our degrees, where we're at in life, and if we ever had like a moment where we had to check ourselves. Do you want me to go first or you gonna go?
Maybe 'cause I didn't think.
I don't know. I do think sometimes you can be accomplished or you can be making real progress and then you see stuff on social media and it makes you feel like I don't know behind or I don't even want to say behind. I don't know how to explain it. Okay, let me give an example maybe and that might be better. For example, using kind of myself, you could be in law school, you could then be out of law school, you could have a wonderful job, you could be making great money, you could be living a fulfilling life, climbing up the ladder in your profession. But you could get on Instagram and you could see someone having, like, we're talking material things or taking trips or whatever, like
Mhm.
doing all this stuff that would require somebody, if they were getting their money legitimately, or if they're not like an influencer or they're not married rich or, dating rich, like that would require them to be super far along in their career in a specific field or making a certain amount of money and you kind of like, dang, I'm still like,
Mhm.
I'm just getting started or I feel like I'm, in a good place, but I can't even do that stuff or something
Hmm.
like that. Like I think that's more how I've seen it show up or my like experience with it is like wondering, dang, like what do other people do? Could I have taken an easier path? Like, I don't know.
Dog.
But I feel like that's like, but it's not me feeling behind though. I think it's more like and I think it's also about what is considered being successful too. Like what is social media coin as being successful? Is it material things? Is it how many trips you take in a year? Is it, the aesthetics of what you're posting, what luxury items you have in there? You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, from like what's the perspective I'm about to come from? Like when you ask, does scrolling make you feel like you're behind? I'm not speaking personally when I say this, but I mean, it could be personally as well, but I don't really do this. But
Yeah.
I will say the thing about social media, and it kind of makes sense with what we were talking about earlier about that documentary that we'll talk about later. But I think social media is really not fit for your brain for real because it compresses all these like thousands. Like I follow 1,000 people on Instagram. Do all of them post? No, but it compresses 1,000 super best moments into a few minutes of scrolling. Like I could be on TikTok and
Mm.
see somebody just got married, somebody just got rich, somebody just got a luxury home. Like you're seeing all of that back to back to back to back. You're not seeing somebody's trajectory or their normal Tuesday. And so I feel like in real life, outside of social media, success is very spaced out that unfolds over months and years, but you're not seeing that process. So online, it feels very like everyone's winning right now, right? Instead of
Mm.
being able to see the process that they're going through. And so then I think you just start measuring life against these curated peak moments and it distorts the way that reality really is. Like that's not how life is. So I think you start probably thinking that slow growth is not impressive. It has to be like now. But I think it just does that to your brain because I don't think we're supposed to be intaking that back to back to back to back all the time, like at all. So you
Ooh,
think you start thinking growth is fast and
girl, you just said something. Okay, come on, preach. That was
yeah.
good.
No, because I just think about I really when you think about it, it really is like that's probably not good for your brain. And you can
Mm-mm.
imagine our brains are so susceptible to what we're intaking, which is why there's so much conversation around not picking your phone up first thing in the morning because it really does determine how your day will go and how you because our brains are just, yeah, doing stuff. So I think that is one thing that has created a lot of distortion for people is because y'all are intaking all of that back to back to back. Y'all stop understanding that's the whole process of stuff that
Mm.
goes into that. Yeah, so that would be my opinion.
Come on, psychology. You sure you don't have your PhD already?
I don't. I wish.
Look, it sounds like you do have it. um,
I don't even
okay,
feel like I
so
answered the second question, but
I was
whatever,
gonna
but
say, I feel like we could still go a little deeper with that, maybe. So, off of what we just said, why does passing the bar or you being in school for,
mm,
your PhD or building a career in a really, I don't even know what I want to call it, like a field that's super competitive that a lot of people are not in, why does that feel less exciting online than a viral moment or somebody being next to a famous person or something like that?
mm.
It's a different question. It definitely builds off of what we were kinda talking about, but it is a different question.
To be real, and tell me if you agree with this.
Okay.
Tell me if you agree with this, because I don't know if I've ever thought about this until you asking the question now that I'm thinking about it. Because remember earlier I was like, "Well, people are just stupid."
Yeah. Yeah.
But now that I think about it, you know what it probably is? Think people react more loudly to what makes them feel elevated.
Mm.
'Cause, like, if I post something with I don't know. If I post I'm just gonna use that as an example because I would love to meet Michael B. Jordan, but if I posted a picture of Michael B. Jordan, people gonna be like, "I know somebody that met Michael B. Jordan," or like, "I follow somebody that met" like, I feel like I don't know, like, proximity to fame is very recognizable. It's, like a social currency thing, so everybody understands what it means to stand next to somebody famous.
Mm.
But passing the bar, and this is like what I said earlier, passing the bar, getting a PhD, building a career, at some point you kind of need context for that. So it will require people to understand the sacrifice and the years and the discipline that go into that. But some people don't, they're just I'm not going to say stupid, but they're not educated enough to know that process in depth. So a viral moment looks more like, more I don't know, transferable maybe too as well. I don't think a lot of people see a PhD and be like, "Oh, I can
Mm.
do that too." Oh, I don't know. I just feel like again, you going back to the Michael B. Jordan thing, if somebody sees me next to somebody powerful, then it might make them feel like I'm one step closer to that just by association because I follow somebody or I went to school with somebody who is doing this stuff. But academic achievement, like that's mine. Like I don't know if that feels transferable unless you're going on the same trajectory, which a lot of people are not. A lot of people aren't just going to law school and getting PhDs and things like that. So I guess it's viewed as like that is not transferable or something that elevates me because that's not the route that I want to go. So I don't know if that makes sense.
No. No, that's a really good take and really good perspective on that. Great point. Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, to kind of draw a comparison, I think when, your friend becomes a lawyer or somebody, like everybody wants to post that, everybody wants to have some type of proximity or closeness to it. And so you'll see people may not support you throughout that journey. But then once you get to that point, then it's like, oh my gosh, you're a lawyer. Oh my God. So they post you like people you might not even talk to you like, damn, where'd you come from? You haven't supported me this whole entire time. So I think it depends. And I think it's also based on what people care about. Like you said, people care about, they probably care more about the things that they can actually understand, maybe. I don't know. Or like you said, something that's more relatable or something that they can see themselves doing. And so I just think, and I think people are just, and kind of what you talked about earlier, like people like the flashiness. They like what everybody else likes. They want to be connected to what everybody else would think is, oh my gosh. And I think a lot of times that's not the educational stuff. Even though for us, we like, okay, this, like, there is a very, very small percentage of Black women and people period that are lawyers that have PhD degrees. What did I just say? Is that what I meant to say? That have their PhDs.
Okay.
It's like, wait, that have their PhDs or that are doctors. And so for us, it's like, wow, because we're in it, we get it, we know the numbers, we haven't seen a lot of people that look like us doing it. But like you said, if you're not in that lane, then maybe it's just not as important. But I don't know. I think that we as a people have to have a little bit more depth and substance to us and think that that stuff is still important and celebrate that so that more of us go after that. And so I do wish that that was posted everywhere online versus the other stuff that's being posted online of people, I don't know, doing nothing really, like having, a nice outfit on or whatever the case may be. So,
Yeah, but like your point about how people won't support you through the journey, but once you become a lawyer, they like, oh, I know a lawyer. Like that's what I mean. People
oh yeah,
react more loudly to what makes them feel elevated versus, I guess, what's required of you as an individual and knowing, that she done been through 3 years of cold calling and all this different stuff. People not looking at that until the end product. They're like, oh, I know a lawyer, and she
right.
went to this like big, high ranking school, and people just care about what makes them look more interesting, sadly, but
Yeah.
that's just what it is.
No, that's real. Kind of off that, do you feel like you've seen a difference in the comments or reactions that you get for your serious posts versus stuff that's more like fun or lifestyle themed, I guess?
Broadly, yeah, like, but then again, like, I don't even know if I really be paying attention.
Individual.
At the same time, the people who I know support me are going to be on both. Like, they're going to be commenting, liking, reposting, whatever they, wanna
Yeah.
do. That doesn't change, but I guess, like, broadly, yeah, like, you'll see more people, like, care about the education side versus if I, like, post something, I don't know, out in, at the club with celebrities or something. Like, that's you get a different reaction for sure.
Which is the opposite of what we just said. So that's interesting because I was gonna agree that like if I like I don't know, when I graduated from law school, for example, I got so much engagement and interaction with my post. But if I just post a picture and I'm, just out, got on a cute outfit, or I might even be out the country or something on a trip, like that doesn't get as much engagement as a huge accomplishment does.
Hmm.
So that's weird because I think maybe it's just the sharing aspect of it.
I mean,
I
well,
don't
I
know.
guess for me, I'm more so meant like we talked about earlier, if I post a picture at, like, a conference, I don't feel like that gets as much engagement as the end product, I guess, which you're
Yes.
saying is, like, graduation. I feel like, yeah, those big things get engagement, but, like, if I just post something along the way, like, "Ooh, I published this paper," no one cares.
But you still feel like the big accomplishment gets more, I don't know, acknowledgement than just a regular picture of you with a cute outfit on.
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure, for
Okay.
sure. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
for
I
sure.
agree. And this kind of goes off, this is a good point too, but social media kind of selling us a fake version of what making it looks like. And that's kind of, I mean, still to that same, I don't know, same thing we were talking about. Making it looks like standing next to a celebrity, making it looks like having a designer bag, having on certain jewelry, making it looks like traveling around the world, going on a trip every single month. I don't know, there's just all these different things that people are seeing and then repeating, and I think that is what people associate with success and also just happiness, or a good life, so to speak, and it's very surface level because that's all you're seeing. You don't know anything, like you said, beyond that, but I do think, yeah, there is a fake version of what making it looks like because just because somebody is on a trip don't mean that they have, quote, unquote, "made it." Like, they coulda used credit to pay for that trip and or the last that they had in their bank account to go on that trip. Like, that's
Yeah.
why I have to take stuff with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that's fair. But, like, yeah, like you said, it just goes back to what I said earlier. You're seeing the most filtered version, the end product. You're only seeing the end product. And so you're not like you said, I'm not seeing her or that person, him or her maxing out their credit card. I'm just seeing the end
Right.
product. So it's just I think when people don't I don't know, people don't think about the whole process because I mean you're not seeing it. No one posts is gonna post that. Hey, I maxed out my credit card to go to on this trip. Like no one's posting that. So I
Right.
think, yeah, like you said, it just goes back to that, like, we're not seeing the whole story, we're just seeing
Story.
the very end of it.
And it may not even be the true story. That's the other thing. Like, people, you'll be surprised how people will use their friends' stuff. Like, hey, can I take a picture with this car? Or
Mhm.
literally be posted up in front of somebody else's car at whatever establishment they are at, like crazy. Or just, hey, this girl, she dealing with this dude and doing whatever she need to do to get these purchases, and he might be cheating on her, dogging her out, all the things, and she don't even have a source of income or career for herself, but it looked good on social media because she has all the material things that everybody gets excited about, that everybody associates, value and wealth and status with. But we don't know the story. We don't know if this is the true story also, because people
Mhm.
can always show what they want you to see. They can always make a story, but you don't know what's really going on behind the scenes or
At
what's
all.
really reality versus what's actually fake. So yeah.
Talk about it.
Okay, let's talk about mental health and validation.
Hey, brother.
When did likes start feeling like affirmation for folks?
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I think it's whenever, and that probably started early when social media first started and people like started really looking at likes and looking at comments. And then you were able to have these professional accounts where you can see engagement and how many people viewed this and whatever. But I think it's just people tying their worth to engagement and tying their worth to these likes. Like you are no longer just posting the picture because you liked it, you want to share it. You're posting it and you're waiting to see what the reaction is going to be. You're posting it because you're seeking the validation of everybody else to tell you, hey, you're pretty girl, you look good. Comment hard eyes. You're wanting people to like it. And so you're kind of you haven't already like made that decision for yourself. You're building your or tying your worth to what other people's reaction to something is versus it just being like, "Hey, I just like this picture and I'm posting it, and I don't really care what anyone has to say." Like, so I
Yeah.
don't know. That's my kinda take on it.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like, largely, I don't know when, because I feel like we've always had likes, right?
I think so.
Especially
Yeah,
people
I
just didn't
think
care
so.
back then. I don't know what in the world
Happened.
happened where people started caring. Because I guess, because the one thing I was gonna say, I was like, well, maybe it's just because it became measurable, but it's always been measurable, right? I mean, not so much the analytics part of it. I think that's newer, like the professional thing you can look
Mhm.
at analytics for, and that can be good for, like, actual businesses and stuff. You need stuff like that for products
Yeah.
and things like that. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know, but I do agree with you, like, now because I guess people pay attention to the fact that there's a number attached to visibility, then yeah, now I'm measuring my self-worth by likes and saves and reposts. Yeah, that's bad. Social media is really bad for us.
It is. And I would say too, you know what the other thing is that did change? Yes, we've always had likes, but it wasn't that long ago to where people started actually being able to create careers and being able to monetize themselves
Correct,
due
yeah.
to those
Mhm,
likes or that
mhm.
engagement. So I think maybe people are also in the back of their head like, "Ooh, if I blow up enough or if the right person then I might be able to quit my day job and do this as
Yeah,
a, career." So maybe it's that, but I still think even like that
or
covers
that.
some of it, but I still think people are still searching for some type of validation, and I'm not
Yeah, for
exactly
sure.
sure where that comes from. But it is maybe like, oh, the influencers of the world, the people who we think are the prettiest, the people who represent beauty for us and success, those people have a lot of likes. So in order for me to feel like I am on that level or to have some type of confidence about myself, I have to too achieve that level of engagement. So maybe that's what it is,
Mhm.
honestly.
Yeah.
I
And just
don't
comparing yourself to other people on your timeline. Like if I'm sure people see they friend post or someone they know post and they getting all these likes and then you're not. And I think it's
Mm,
like a comparison thing too, which I don't know if people really paid attention to that back in the day. Like
back in the day, yeah.
how many likes other people have, but people do that now. They do.
Yes, 100%. Okay. Do you think that people are addicted to being witnessed? Because that could be some of it too.
Mm, I think people are addicted to validation and confirmation.
Yeah, attention.
Like, yeah. So maybe I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think so because I think nowadays people post everything. There
Yeah,
is no more really like, and I'm not saying everybody, but there's not a lot of privacy anymore, or there is no, okay, this just happened and I didn't post it. It's almost like if you don't post it, it didn't happen. And so I think that's like the mentality. And I think people feel as though in order to get validation or to feel like their worth is, something, they have to be witnessed. It has to be that
mm,
somebody saw this. It can't just be like, I'm content and happy that this happened and I know it happened. No, everybody has to know it happens. And I need to get that validation from people too. I don't know.
no, yeah, that makes sense. Cause yeah, but again, just going back to what social media has normalized how we intake stuff. Like you said, we've normalized constant updates. So like, if we're not updating something, then the silence makes it seem like nothing's going on, but sometimes silence for me is like, I'm at peace and I'm doing
Right.
stuff off screen, but yeah, I guess in a way we have, yeah, equated visibility with, I guess, existence in a way. I guess you're only growing if others are watching. Um But I just think that's stupid because I just think progress is not that's not always, broadcastable, if that's a word. I don't even know if that's a word, but
Right.
yeah, like some of the best moments in your life don't come with no posts.
Right. Or an audience.
Yeah,
People
for real.
don't.
Like a lot of people is not gonna see, and I don't think they need to for you to feel validated. But yeah, social media is so bad for us.
It's so bad. It's so bad for our mental health. And that's what I was gonna talk about next is just like, okay, if you quiet online, do people feel like you failed, you fallen off, you disappeared? I would say yes. People are so used to everything being online. Like I said,
Mhm,
if you don't post it, it didn't happen. If you ain't online, then things are not going well for you.
mhm,
It's I just don't get it because me personally, Imma take some breaks, and I will not be online. That don't mean I have that's p like you said, that means I'm at peace.
right.
I'm not engaging, I've, unplugged, I'm focused on me. I probably needed a break because I was getting overstimulated by all of this stuff, and so, yeah, I don't know why there has to be visibility into your life for you to, be doing well, to be successful, to be and I think that's the thing too. I think social media took away privacy. And
Mm,
now it's like if you do exercise privacy or like if you are a private person, that's frowned upon for some reason. When actually that's a good thing.
probably
I
better.
would say because people can't be preying on your downfall or, if they don't know what's going on. I mean, they could, but if they don't have visibility to it and all those things, they can't be sitting there like, oh, I hope that fails for her or whatever. Like, I honestly
Mm,
rather be private. I rather if I share something, I'm not sharing it until it's happened and it's signed, sealed, and delivered.
mhm.
So I don't know. And
Yeah,
then I
no,
just
that's
think it's
real.
better to like even with relationships, I post my boyfriend, but I don't post my boyfriend all the time. I feel like I should be able to have something for myself. Everything does not have to be
Mhm,
a
yeah.
me and everybody I have on social media thing.
Yeah, no, that's real. That's real. Mm. No, I'm just thinking like, cause I had seen this TikTok the other day. And it was this guy, he was talking about, he was like, like if you're young, you're like a woman and you're pretty, like post yourself all the time. Post yourself because you never know what type of but I get what he's saying because of how social media works now. It
Mhm.
almost feels to people like they have to post to get opportunities because all of the opportunities are like, social media based now a little bit. Not all this way, but at least if you want to be like a influencer and stuff like that or get monetized for all this stuff, I don't know, people do feel like you just have to be posting all the time, which most influencers do have to
Do,
post
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, by contract. Like you need to have this many
Yeah,
posts a
so
day, a week.
yeah, I
Yeah.
guess, yeah,
Okay. Well, let's move on because we could probably talk about that all day.
probably.
So authenticity versus aesthetic. And I think we kind of talked about this already, but I do think there was a shift. Like we were talking about back in the day, we would post our Chipotle bowls, our
Mhm,
Thanksgiving plates and things, and wouldn't care, anything about it, what it looked like. We just posting it just to post or posting ourselves sitting and talking and not caring what we look like or anything, just doing it. Cause we're just in the midst of something and we're just sharing it as we're doing it, not too much thought about it. At some point, there was a shift and it became like everything that I post has to be aesthetically pleasing.
mm,
And I hate that for us because it just takes so much extra thought and
mhm,
energy and it shouldn't be all that. But for some
yeah.
reason that is what it is. Like literally these people these people with these daily routines, wait, like it be
Oh,
so fake.
yeah.
I'm like, y'all did not just set up your camera, walk back away from your camera, and then run that scene so that it looks like that's exact. Like that is it's sick, actually. That's sick. And you got your stuff set up. You got your designer,
Yeah,
bags in the house hung up on or in the closet, sitting up on a thing, and you recording, you getting ready. And it's just everything is every little detail matters. It has to be aesthetic. It has to have luxury lifestyle in it. It has to be, you know, I don't know. Yeah. And it's I don't know. And I've done it before. Like I have my bag or something on a table. I'm taking a picture of food and I'm including my wine glass in it too. Like, yeah, I've definitely done that before with like food and stuff. But just when it's an everything thing, and even sometimes when it's just that, if you're putting a lot of work and energy to it, it's too much. It's like,
Yeah,
why how did we get there?
yeah, like, I should not be at the table, and I can't touch out with some friends, and I can't touch my food for over 15 minutes because 'cause you're trying to figure out the best angle. Come on, bro.
And
I'm
yeah,
about to
15
start
minutes is
eating. I'm
crazy.
about to start eating, bro. You got, like, 3 minutes to figure out the angle, and I'm done.
Yeah, no, literally 3
Seriously.
minutes to figure it out.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, I think yeah, that's oof, that's a lot. Yeah, when you think about it like that, it's like that. Because sometimes I ain't gonna lie, I be looking at people's daily routines, I be eating it up like, "Oh, that's cute." But then when you think about it, yeah, the walking back and forth, yeah, that's a lot. Because
The
I've posted
setup
like
in and of itself, the setup,
I've
you just did a
posted
lot to set
yeah.
that up.
I'm about to say, 'cause like, I've posted a day in my life, but it's not aesthetic as at all because I'm not like, Imma just have the camera while I'm doing stuff. If I'm clocking like, it's not gonna look aesthetic, and that's probably why I'm not viral on TikTok and stuff. But I'm just saying, I'm not doing all that for it to be but yeah, everything is aesthetic now. Everything is aesthetic, everything.
Yeah, it's just too much setup. Like I said, there's too much that's going into this. Like, it's like y'all are almost staging a room in a home for a real estate showing. It's too much.
Yeah. And I honestly feel like I mean, sometimes on TikTok it is like that in the sense of the day in the lives and all that stuff. But
Mm,
the reason part of the reason I love TikTok so much is because people just be on there just talking, just saying
mm,
stuff and being funny. They might be in the bed with their bonnet and just be sharing random thoughts, and we all be under there or telling story times and stuff. I love that type of stuff because it's like that's just us connecting and sharing people's, lives and stuff. But I guess yeah, I think, and that kind of goes into the next question if vulnerability is still authentic when it's curated for an audience. Um,
mm,
so taking the vulnerability piece out of it, I think when sharing stuff on social media, I feel like sharing is human. I think sharing things is human, but once you're doing it to manage a perception, that's when it becomes strategy. And that's
mm.
where it's getting weird, strange. So I think
Yeah.
like that's just how it is with social media too. Like, you posting because you're just posting, then cool. But if you trying to manage a perception or be taken in a certain way by the people on the other side of the screen, then maybe we need to get off social media for a little while and
Yeah,
come
you
back in.
might need to sit on somebody's couch.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah. So, I guess to that point, is vulnerability still authentic when it's curated for an audience? And I don't know, we can kinda talk about and this goes into another point, but vulnerability. I just think about, pouring your feelings out, being honest about what you're going through, etcetera. I just think it depends on how you go about it. Like you said, if you sitting in your bonnet in your bed just recording, like you're talking about a bad relationship or something and just sharing, like I feel like that's cool. But when it becomes like you said, like curated or edited, or you're trying to showcase it in a certain way so it's perceived a certain way, then I think that's when we have a problem. And I will say I'm really trying hard to wait till we get to this point, but I'm about to say this now.
Go ahead.
When people be crying on camera, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry, y'all. Unless unless like we were saying, you're sitting there and you're recording your mind and you just
You
going and the
start
tears just
crying.
start flowing. But when you set up your camera and then you begin crying on cue or just I don't know, I just something about that is so cringy to me because I'm like, why are you literally sitting here recording yourself crying unless that was a spur of the moment, it just happened thing in
Mhm.
the midst of your recording, not you was like, "Okay, I'm about to cry, I'm about to record this."
Yeah, that's true.
That is sick.
Mhm. Mhm.
Something is not
Something is wrong, yeah.
we need to rewire
Something is
something.
really wrong.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a problem because that's curating for an audience. I don't know. I think I don't know what you're changing or editing, but I just think you're trying to get some type of attention because like if I'm crying, I don't want to be on nobody. I don't want to be in front of nobody's face. So I definitely don't want to be on camera, and I sure as hell not posting it. And then you're still posting it after. Cause say you're not live. Say you just recording a video and then you watched it like, yeah, I'm on here crying. I'm finna post like this is it. I'm finna post this. Why?
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
let me
it's
get off of that.
no, but it really is strange, like, to be mid crying and pick up say, "You know what? I'm gonna pick up my phone, go to my camera, press that big red button that says record, and then sit here and continue to cry, then stop the recording, go post it with a caption or something." That's a lot. You can't be that upset about whatever we're crying about. I'm sorry. It's just yeah.
I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yes,
That's all Imma say.
I'm very concerned.
Okay, so, um, do you feel like people post their healing, but they don't often, like, post the breakdown, the doubt that comes before that? And obviously, we're not talking about people, I don't know, necessarily crying on camera, but just I don't know, we kinda talked about this earlier. I do think people post the positives,
Mm.
the good stuff, the wins, but nobody really posts and I'm gonna say nobody because I think it's shifted a little bit. Some people are very candid and transparent about their journeys and everything they went through to get to a point or whatever, but not everyone. So a lot of times, like I said, people are posting wins, but they're not posting the losses, they're not posting the failures, they're not posting the journey. They might post, "Oh, I'm healed, da da da," but they don't post everything they went through to get there. And not that you need to in that, like, because I think if you want to keep that private, that's fine. But I do think there's kind of a lack of transparency or a lack of showing a full story and just showing a piece of it, and then it's kind of perceived a certain way. But I don't know that I feel that people are obligated to show, their entire journey or any of it for that fact. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a loaded question. I think, yeah, maybe we just need to get off social media as a whole. I don't know.
You like, I don't even want to answer the question. I'm just thinking about
I
it. And
feel
it's like,
it's too much. But I will say, if now that I'm thinking about it, when people, because what we're talking about is the journey, I guess.
yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people do post their journeys now. Like you said, there's been a shift in
Hmm.
people posting the things they've been through and things like that. However, I do think that that's only welcomed or okay when you're redeemed, you know? You went through this stuff, but I'm
Oh.
posting it when I'm out of the situation, right? I'm not gonna post me like, cause you can have people get on and be like, like, "I struggled through this, and I struggled with this, and this, and this," but we don't know all that until they done came out of it. Everybody loves a redemption
Mm.
story, but nobody is gonna get on Instagram and be like, I'm depressed right now. I'm about to have a
Mm.
mental breakdown right now. I am not okay right now. So I do think in that sense, yeah, again, it always has, even if it's like the situation's not flattering all the way through, it's flattered by the end. Everybody's like, "Yay, she got out of the situation." But I don't feel like that would be as
Mm.
welcome. I can't post myself with no housing out on the street begging for food and people be like, "Oh, wow, that's so amazing that she's sharing this process with us." No, it's not gonna be welcomed until I'm like, "Yeah, one time I was homeless, but I got it out the mud, and now I got money again." Then everybody's,
Mm.
but it always has to be a redemption story. It's never gonna be the actual process broken down, posted. But I don't even think, honestly, you probably shouldn't be posting if you like out on the streets, but you feel me?
Yeah, but that's sad. That is sad though. Like that was a really good
Sad that
way
you
to
feel like
break
you
that
can't post
down.
that, yeah, like you
Right. It's sad
can't.
that you can't post that and that you're not going to be as supported until people feel like you made it out of that dark place.
Exactly.
But often in life, I do feel like that's the thing. Like I was just talking about, people, once you get the past the bar and you're an attorney, once you get the law degree, everyone's celebrating that. But nobody is going to be under your, if you like, I'm depressed as hell, I am struggling balancing, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm ready to drop out. People ain't really there for that part
Right here.
or really trying to, support during that, but they want to be supportive when you've made it through. They like that's the thing. People just love the wins, the glamour, the
Yeah.
flash, but they don't love the journey to that.
Mm-mm.
And that's why I always say, I don't know, we had talked about this before, but you just don't know what people have gone through to get what they got. So I never like the comparison thing just killed that because You just don't know. And a lot of times people have went through stuff. It isn't just a, "Oh, yeah, everything just worked out perfectly." Like, no, there's a whole story behind that, and I think we should support people in all stages of that journey, not just when they've overcome it, because
Mm,
it takes a while to get there, so ooh,
yeah.
that's sad. Why is
It
that?
really is sad, and it actually goes back to why to actually, this is so funny. So, I hope I'm not pronouncing this lady's name wrong. Viola Davis, right? Is Vi
Mhm,
okay, 'cause sometimes I'm like, I know it's Viola, but I'm questioning myself because I would never wanna disrespect my queen, but
mhm.
it goes back to her speech yesterday, actually. Is what
Mm,
this is reminding me of because she was talking about the hero's journey and how a lot of times she was measuring, like, being successful as being significant, right? But she realized that going through the journey, she found herself the most in those times that were the darkest, right?
mhm,
And so it
yep,
it goes back to that and also her talking about the hero's journey, calling out the people who are mostly unseen, the people who are behind the scenes doing the work at the hospital, saving people, the person who's taking care of her mom that has dementia. We don't hype those people up, right? We don't even think about that in the background until it's something that's posted or until it's something that's on this big stage. And so that's oh, it made me cry. Like that speech really made me
yeah,
cry because it just yeah, like people those people are not paid. Those people that are on the front lines every day for us, like not posting it and we're if we're not seeing it, it's not real, like you said earlier.
mhm,
So I think, yeah, social media has really ooh, effed us up. I almost wanna say the F word, but it
yeah.
has really effed us up.
And
As
people don't appreciate the struggle or even, like, acknowledge it,
mhm,
like you
at
said,
all.
though, and that's sad. Yeah, y'all, if y'all have not watched the NAACP Image Awards, please go back and watch it. It was so
Mhm.
good and so powerful. There were so many great speeches given, particularly hers.
Yeah,
But
amazing
yeah,
speech. Yeah,
huge.
so I think that goes back to that speech a lot because and a lot of people, like you said, they just I think yeah, a lot of people don't wanna go through the breakdown or don't wanna face themselves, which is what she was also saying. You have to face the ugly parts of yourself and the dark parts of yourself to get
Yeah.
to become the person that you are meant to become on this earth, and I don't think a lot of people wanna do that because it's not flashy and it's not beautiful, and it's actually very
Right.
ugly and not glowy and all the things, so yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
very messy, but very necessary at the same time.
mhm.
Woo, okay, we about to start preaching here. I can feel it. That was good, Mattia. You're doing great. I am I feel inspired. Um, okay, we can touch on this kinda really quick, but because we kinda talked about it, but when does, like, sharing grief or loss become performative? I know both of us have very strong takes on this because we have seen some very cringy stuff, y'all, when it comes to deaths. And it's just I'm talking about people connecting themselves to somebody who has lost their life that they did not even have that level of a relationship with just to get attention on social media or some type of sympathy or whatever. Um, or just like somebody dies and the immediate reaction is to like post it and post everything or literally posting somebody's casket. Y'all, I'm never gonna be able to get behind that. I'm never gonna do that. You can post a funeral program or something, but why? I don't know. Some of the stuff is just I don't know when it gets performative, but some of it is really performative, and some of it is like I don't know. Some people like genuinely that were close to the person, maybe it is that they're just going through it so bad and they're using social media as an outlet. I don't think it's the best outlet because these people, you probably don't know most of them. I don't even know that all of them really care. Your support is probably on the ground. The people that are at your home right now sitting with you, not the people online. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but there's some weird stuff that happens. But I will say the performative part be people making fake relationships or like uploading the 3 messages you had with that person over their 28 years of life to try to draw a connection because you want to I don't know, people like want trauma. Why would you wanna know somebody that died? I don't personally. I've dealt with
It's not a good
death too
feeling,
much.
yeah.
It's not a good feeling.
Honestly.
So, I don't know. Mattia, speak on it because I don't wanna get because I get really irritated with it.
Yeah. Ew. It's like, I want but I can't say I don't understand losing someone because I do, but
Yeah. Yeah,
I've
and
just
people
never
grieve in let me say too before you go, people grieve in different ways. I'm not
correct.
saying if this somebody you really know and like I said, you may go to social media, that may not be my reaction or I might not think that's the best way to if that's how somebody grieves, fine. I'm more so speaking on people that be literally performing and it's not a genuine even relationship.
Okay, okay, okay.
Like, that's what I should let me clear
Um,
that up because I don't wanna yeah.
okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's a tale as old as time that people would get on social media and just wanna know somebody who has died or connect, but I don't know why. I don't know. I don't understand that. But yeah, maybe it's just the attention thing, I guess. And sometimes depending on how much status the person who died had, people be wanting to be in the mix of that, which is just really strange. But yeah, I think it becomes grief or loss becomes performative when it's like it's not real. I feel
Yep.
like and even in low key, but like you said, like I don't, cause some people I feel like their grief really do be real, but they don't know how to get off of social media. I don't know, like
Yeah, and it's like, why on here? But
like I
I
don't
like I
wanna
said,
say
I'm not
people's grief
judging.
don't be real. It's
Yeah.
just like again, you don't have to constantly update us on everything.
Right, like,
It's okay.
even
It's okay
no,
for you to
like
grieve outs or off of the internet. It's okay.
yes, and I think that's a really good point because even when people pass, like celebrities, like significant
Feel like they
others
have to
or
say
family,
something.
people make them feel like they have to say something, and they feel like they have to say something. Like, they're literally be like, "So and so is silent. We haven't heard anything. Like, we wonder when." They don't owe you an answer, a response, a post at any point in time. They're allowed to grieve in private, in silence, off of social media. They do not owe y'all an explanation. This is a very personal tragedy that just occurred, and y'all are sitting here waiting for them to make a statement. That is sick because now you're too involved in somebody else's life who you don't even know. You don't even know them.
Yeah.
And they don't owe you anything. And I think people feel like they have to say something. So eventually they break their silence. But it's even like people expect it right away too. Damn, if they just lost somebody and they're gonna say something, at least give them some time to process it. Why do y'all
Yeah.
feel that y'all are owed a statement? And I don't know if that's just a thing with celebrities and because they're always, being recorded on camera, having to speak, if that's where that comes from, but it's so weird to me because how would you feel if somebody did that to you?
No, I think that's, across the board thing. It's just not as, like, 'cause I think that happens to regular people too, like, if I don't know, if somebody's, like, boyfriend or girlfriend dies and, like, everybody knows that that was, the person they're in a relationship with, I feel like regular people be expect like, waiting, like, what is she gonna say? What are they gonna it's strange. It's strange.
Weird.
I think it happens in real life too, it's just not as broadcasted on, like platforms like the news, like, "Oh, so and so hasn't said." We're regular people, so you're not seeing that on such a big scale. But, like,
Mm,
by word of mouth, I have heard of people, "I wonder where, like, so and so, like, so and so hasn't said anything," and it's like, "Bro, they mama died." Like,
right. Were they supposed to say something?
yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
they need to say anything. Um,
And maybe that's where that comes from too, back to our other point of why people do grieve on social media or post everything when somebody dies. Maybe they feel like they have to. If they don't, then are you really grieving because you didn't post it? Like,
right,
you
yeah.
know? So maybe they
Mhm.
feel like that pressure to do that.
Yeah, and I really, really, again, I really do think people or like you said, people really do measure that by if someone posts about it.
Mhm.
If I know somebody like, if somebody not me personally, I don't care which post really, but, hypothetically speaking, if I know somebody who was in your life that died, yeah, that person just gonna be waiting for you to post something. If you didn't, then you didn't care about them for real. And it's just like,
What?
that's strange.
Yeah, like, what kind
That's
of math did
really
you just do in
weird,
your head?
actually, like, that's really weird. So, yeah, I think that is I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
that's like a but then I'm thinking, maybe that's like a system I don't know where that started or but that's things around death and just having to, like, prove things around death is weird. Because even in school, somebody died, you gotta prove that they was close to you to even get some time off, and sometimes maybe people feel like they gotta post so people just leave them the hell alone so that they know that somebody done died and that they need to be left alone, I feel like so I don't know, it's a lot of nuance around why that might happen. But it all comes down to like, people expecting certain things or, like, needing to have evidence of grief or, like, turmoil. Strange.
That's just terrible logic and reasoning, though. Like, not what you're saying, but just in general, that
Mm.
mentality or thought process. If they didn't post, they didn't care. Just goodbye, goodbye.
Or another thing, and then this will be my last point, but, like, another stop it. another sorry. Another thing is people when people die, sometimes people will and they know that somebody in somebody's life has died, and then the person goes back to work or just starts, living like people be like, "Oh, she didn't grieve long enough, like, she" it's like sometimes again, everyone grieves differently, and I have
Mhm.
learned throughout, dealing with grief, sometimes that normalcy is what's needed for you to, like, just feel okay. Sometimes you just need to feel like nothing has changed, to cope a little bit, but it's different for everybody. Some people need to just completely fall apart, and then some people need that structure to, you know, whatever. But yeah, people will do that too. Like that person
Mhm.
went right back to work because some Real Housewife, her son just died or something. She's still gonna record for the show, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, she doesn't care about her son." Like, but there's so much evidence of her caring about her son and their relationship all over the internet and all these like things. So it's sick. It's really just sick.
That's the thing, it doesn't even matter if there's evidence, that is her son, clearly she's
Yeah,
grieving, and she just
right.
grieved in her own way, and y'all don't get to tell people how to grieve. Like you said, people might need different stuff to even
Mhm.
keep going. Like, for her to not do anything and just sit in that, like, I think, mental health-wise, like, we do need to sit and stuff, we do need to deal with it, but, yeah, like, I don't know, let me just get off because we're gonna be talking about this, let me just